Right, it's just going on to live now. Just let a few people come in. Evening all. See a few of you coming in now. Evening all. Lee Ashby here from Motocross and Speedway Memories. Before I get into the interview and introduce the guest, I'll just make a few thank yous. Big thanks for the support to Simon Pardo of White Eagle Finance. They give quality financial advice for pensions, mortgages, investments and protection. Check the website out at www.whiteeaglefinance.co.uk. Big thanks to Stefan Everts with his S72 gin and vodka brand. Check out all his amazing products out at www.s72gin.com. Big thanks to Tom Brown of Moto Extreme Motocross Shop in Marshfield, and also his Moto Part 46 practice track off the M4 at the Bath Junction there. Check them all out for your off-road needs, including the new 2021 Kawasaki's at www.motoextreme.co.uk, and you can ring them on 01225 89227. And also thanks to James Burfield of Even Strokes online off-road shop. Check those guys out at www.evenstrokes.com. They're also on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, so you can check those guys out. Right then, people, I will get the introduction away here. Here we go. Right then, people, this man was the British Under-21 champion, also the British champion, British League Riders champion, Intercontinental champion, Ace of Aces grass track champion, 3 times Northern Riders champion, Daily Mirror Golden Hammer winner, 1980 World Team Cup winner with England, also 1984 World Pairs champion, and 1984 also British League Pairs champion. It is no other than Mr. Chris Morton himself. How's it going, Chris?
Okay, Lee. Okay. Very good, thanks.
Awesome to get you on, mate. Really appreciate your time.
Interesting you mentioned the Golden Hammer there, because I was looking for something the other day and dug up the Golden Hammer trophy, which I'll show you in a bit, because it's just over the way from me. Because I thought,
definitely
I'll get it out and polish it up, because I'd put a lot of my trophies away. So
yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome to get that out. I think I've got a few pictures as well of some of these things that we can bring up as well along the way. Right, I can see everyone's coming in. Let's just check a few comments. Everyone's put good evening, all fantastic. Hi, boys. Good evening. How you all doing? All right. So we'll get it underway, and then I'll start getting some of the people's questions in a minute. So, Chris, how did you get into Speedway, and what is your earliest memory of the sport?
Well, going into Speedway really through going and watching, like must be a lot of riders do that. You know, as a kid, you don't really imagine yourself as being a Speedway rider until you start to think, yeah, I fancy doing that. And so I used to go along to Belle Vue with my brother. Used to meet up with Peter Collins. Quite a few of us from Partington used to go and watch Speedway. That was from about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old, and always seemed to me from being probably about 10, as far as I was concerned, I was going to be a Speedway rider.
Wow, so was that early?
Yeah, I think so. But of course, you know, it's kids' dreams, really. But,
of course, yeah.
One thing I do remember, which and it must have been 1968, so 68 I'd be 12, I think. It was when I think Ivan had just won the World Final, and he came and won the Peter Craig Memorial Trophy for the first time. And I have a very vivid view of him riding around on the tractor or the truck, sporting the trophy that he just won. And strangely, I do mention it in the book that who would have imagined, like 6 years later, I'd be doing the same thing.
Exactly that. That was pretty cool then. Yeah. Actually, moving on from that, that's a good one to my next question I had was, what riders did you look up to and idolise when you were young, and why? And did you ever get to race any of your heroes' idols?
Yeah, very, very lucky on that score, I must admit, because my great influences, if you like. I mean, let's just get aside Ivan, because Ivan influenced so many riders within Speedway, but other people earlier on. Soren Sejostin was my favourite rider when I used to watch at Belle Vue. And also on the grass track, I've talked about this many times, that Chris Pusey, we used to go along to local grass track meetings, watching Chris Pusey as he came through from the mid to late 60s, and then going and watching him at Belle Vue. That was always a treat, really, to know you could go and watch him on a Sunday at a grass track meeting, and seeing him perform at Belle Vue as well. So they were two great influences on me, Soren, and I was very lucky to ride in teams with both of them. I mean, Soren was a teammate at Belle Vue, and Chris Pusey rode with him for England. So they were great influences, and as a younger man, you feel kind of overwhelmed and honoured to be riding with these people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Was there a certain engine or a bike over the years, Chris, that you sort of become a bit of a favourite? I've heard a few of the riders say they've had special engines, that they kept certain things. Did you have certain ones like that?
I did have. I've not kept any. Unfortunately, I used to have to get set up for the following season. I'd sell on the bikes that I'd had from the previous year, but there was one engine that always did seem to do me proud over its life, if you like, because it was a Westlake that I won quite a few meetings on. The Intercontinental final I won on it. It got me through to the World Final, and it continued really to always be a good engine. It's actually nicknamed Bessie after my old Volvo, which was nicknamed Bessie. And I suppose that came from it being a something that always never let you down. It was one of those. Yeah.
So it was definitely a bit of a special one for you then.
It certainly was. Yeah.
Right, I've got Simon Corbett here. Has come up on Facebook. He's put, Chris, who was the toughest Cradley rider to beat at Hyde Road? Did you enjoy coming to Dudley Wood?
Well, because Cradley was such a strong team most of the time. They were. We know some of the clashes with Belle Vue and Belle Vue were always tough meetings. Enjoyable in that sense, but it was never easy. And there's some obvious ones. All the riders that rode Cradley could ride Belle Vue well, and so whoever I was up against, whether it be Bruce, Eric, Simon, Alan Graham, Phil Collins, all of them, they were all capable of beating me at Hyde Road, certainly at Cradley. And so, they were always great races. And all of those, the riders I've mentioned, I probably missed someone. Yano was obviously the same, but the Simon Wigg, the problem is I'll miss someone, but these were guys that whenever you were up against them, you had to give it your absolute best because it was never going to be easy. And sometimes I beat them, sometimes they beat me. So that's Speedway, isn't it?
Great times,
certainly, yeah.
I've got Annette Brody. She's put, your team riding with PC was poetry in motion. Do you think that riding in the fields together formed that chemistry?
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it must have had an effect because we grew up together, so we probably and riding together in the same team and all of that. You do start to understand how the other rider thinks and works, and so it becomes a subconscious, natural thing to happen. If PC made a certain move, I'd know why he was doing it, and so I would respond accordingly, and vice versa. And so it's about, and that really does help with team riding, knowing what the other rider is or why he's doing something, to be able to react accordingly.
So did you and PC, did you sort of tend to have a plan? Someone was going to go inside, someone go outside, or did you literally just do it by instinct?
Just go with it. By instinct, just go with it. Yes, we would. I mean, sometimes you'd have because certainly at Belle Vue, we would know how the track would behave throughout the meeting because it would change, and there'd be there'd be a period of, like there is in all meetings, where the inside line loses its early meeting strength, but very often it comes back again because everyone's moved out following the dirt, and what they've done is left a nice little piece there that you might just get one little bit of drive that's going to help you out, and that was something that we often talked about. That during meetings you'd see that the racing was getting mid-track, wider, getting wide, and then you just knew that there was going to be that opportunity to just nip round the inside and get it right and pinch another point or whatever. It might mean that if they're riding wide, you've got to be a bit hard coming out of the corner, but that's how it was. Yes, and and that was the thing with somewhere like Belle Vue that's got had so many different lines that you had to know where you needed to be at the certain time in the meeting and how it worked, how it behaved.
All about the details then, Chris. I love that.
Yes, yeah, it certainly was.
Got Gary O'Hare's just come up and put, Mort, UMPC influenced me to take up Speedway and glad to call you a friend.
Good to hear that, Gary. I mean, and Gary's one of these that he'd certainly beat me now if we had a race, because he's still going strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it's good to hear that, and you don't know these things, but Gary's been riding Speedway for a long time now. I don't know how long that would be, but he must be getting on for certainly 30, 35, 40 years. Is it 40 years, Gary? I don't know.
He might come up and tell us in a minute.
Yeah.
Right, I got Jeff Daniels. He's put, okay, Chris, good to see you all. Great memories riding for the Aces, and a massive thank you for your effort and involvement in the NSSS, and a great legacy you have left. In my opinion, you should still be involved. Hope to hear you soon. See you soon.
Yeah, I know Jeff. Very well. He was a big supporter of us while we were getting the NSS going. Good to hear that. Good to hear he's still if you're not involved or he's still enjoying his Speedway. He's a long-term supporter of Belle Vue, and it's been an odd year for us this year, hasn't it? To try and get the Speedway that we want, but it's good to see that. Well, and even this, you're doing this helps people still are able to keep involved. But good to hear from Jeff. Yeah.
You would have certainly loved the new track yourself personally if you'd have been racing, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I designed it to suit me, so that's
that makes sense
for sure. Yeah, without a doubt, and it's there's many things involved with the track, and we may get onto that, but the designing of that comes from years of experience and fortunately being influenced by Hyde Road.
Yeah, it was a very cool place. Got Paul Renault. He's put, what was it like receiving the MBE, and is that a Buckingham Palace trip?
Yes, it was a Buckingham Palace trip.
Brilliant.
It was slightly overwhelming, really, because it was strange because when the letter came in an official envelope, and you're like, what's this? What have I done wrong?
We're in trouble,
yeah. And then and you get the letter that tells you that you've been nominated, and then you've got to wait to find out what date you're going to go and get it. Had a fantastic day there, and with the family and everybody, and met Richard Clark from the Speedway Star. We went out for a meal after, and it was a special day. Really was.
Awesome, amazing achievement.
Yeah.
Awesome.
In fact, that I don't know if it was that year or whether it was the following year, but I managed to achieve 2 trips to the Palace, which was good because there was a garden party that lots of world champions were invited to as well. I think it was in the same year or the following year. So I was a regular. Yeah.
Wow.
Regular at Buckingham Palace.
Getting a bit. Yeah. Who would have ever thought? Was that a bit surreal going there?
Oh, I was losing you then. It's
okay. Oh, am I all right now?
break up. It might be me actually. Oh no, the signal's quite good, so it should be all right.
Yeah, mine seems all right as well. Is it all right now?
No, it's playing up. It's
How was that?
no, it can't be. Right, no, fine. Carry on.
Okay, cool. Gary O'Hare put the orange Volvo.
Orange Volvo. That's right. Yeah, that was Bessie. The engine was named after.
Yeah. Richard Cotton's just put, "Hey up, Mort. I hope you're good."
Yes, I'm Richard. Thank you very much. Good to hear from you.
Good. There's no name on this one. They've not registered it, but they've put, "How did you feel racing your brother? Did you try harder? Cheers."
Always a challenge because Dave was quality racer and a trapper as well, and it was always a challenge. Yes, I did try harder. We both wanted to beat each other, so yeah. No, it was. There was
Nothing
such
like
an occasion.
sibling rivalry.
I'll tell the story.
Go on.
He had unfortunately Dave had a few injuries, and he had a problem with his knee. He had a knee injury, and his knee would only bend to right angles. It wouldn't go past the right angle position, and he was okay with it, but it was giving him a bit of trouble. Yeah. Anyway, having a race at Belle Vue, and he was in front of me, and he was having an engine problem. His engine was packing up, and he's trying to stop me and balk me because I'm trying to get past, and he's clearly packing up. So I came diving underneath him, thinking I've got to get past him. He's packing up, and as I came underneath him, I caught him, and whether I knocked him off, I don't know. That's debatable. But anyway, he came off, hit the fence. His leg hit the fence. His bad leg, and it cured his problem with his knee that wouldn't bend. Yeah, a bit of serious manipulation, if you like, because he'd been to the doctor a few times to have it manipulated to try and get it moving, because it had probably cartilage stuff, and this sorted his knee out. So yeah, although I knocked him off, so it sorted his problem out.
That was a good thing then. All right, I got a Polish lad here, Lucas. He's put, "Chris, how you remember from the English League Polish riders? Yeah. Yes. What do you know? What do you remember about the Polish riders in the English League?" He's put
right. Zenon. Zenon Plett was a very. He was at Hackney with my brother Dave, and I know they were very good friends. A lot of respect for Plett and Edward Jankars, great riders. And I think I was fortunate to ride against both of them. Zenon Plett was obviously world class, and so was Edward. Great riders. Yeah. What's the question? Which advantage had his two riders? What's he mean there? Which advantage?
I'm not too sure.
I think he means which was the best of these two.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Who had the advantage? Yeah.
No, I think that's hard question, because they were both exceptional riders, really.
Yeah.
But I would have to put them equal. I'm not sitting on the fence. Genuinely, I wouldn't know which one to put above the other.
Fair enough. Yeah. He's also asked about your memories of being in Poland.
Wrocław 80 and two individuals. Poland in the World Pairs. That was not the World Pairs, the World Championship, the team championship. That was it was a great year for me, 1980. Obviously winning the Intercontinental, but that meeting at Wrocław was exceptional. I really enjoyed it. I think I dropped a point to Bruce. Had some great races. It was a sort of track that it suited me. Really enjoyed it. The two individual finals. It's a good track. I don't think I was quite ready for it in '76. I was perhaps foolishly going along there for the ride. I think we just transferred to West Lakes, so the West Lakes were becoming dominant, and I should have done better. I should have done better because I'd performed quite well in the Intercontinental final at Wembley in '76. But I think I'd kind of was just along there to learn some experience, which I wasn't able to take advantage of because it was 3 years before I then qualified for another world final. So and '86, it didn't work for me. I was riding Jawas, they weren't quite quick enough. '86.
Okay, fair enough. I've got Phil Elkin come up. He put, did you keep any of your race jackets or leathers from over your great speedway career?
I've got quite a few of my body colours. Some of them, to be fair, I have. I've let a lot of them go. Some of them I've been gifted some by, thankfully, by Ian Corcoran, who's bought some for me and presented them back to me, which was great. Nice. But yeah, I've still got quite a few. I didn't keep all of them. I did have lots of them, but I think one of my problems is that you have a lot of them, but don't do anything with them. They're just stuck in a pile. Whereas, like you've got that one behind you, you as fans, they tend to look after them much better than I would. And so, they just need to be loved, these things, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They seem to be all the rage now as well. Everyone seems to be after them, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, I've still got some crackers, and but that's and got a couple of pairs of leathers.
Yeah,
a lot of them I haven't got.
Did you have any favourites over the year? Any leathers that you particularly liked?
Probably I don't know, probably not specifically, although I do like and I'm looking at me because I've got my book in front of me here. I don't know why, just in case. But that it's just that period where I had those the yellow and white and black leathers. I don't know, they were good to me, if you like. So yes, I like
Makes
those.
sense. Yeah. I've also got an evening to you two from Barney Kennett.
Barney Kennett. Good evening, Barney.
Yeah, evening, Barney. Thanks for coming on. I've got Paul Morris. He's put, thanks for the stadium, Chris. We wouldn't have had any place if it wasn't for your intervention. And great memories of you around the old Hyde Road Stadium. You were brilliant working your way through the field. Great memories.
Yeah, well, thank you for the comments about the National Speedway Stadium. And I always say this, it comes from what Hyde Road offered, because it was very, very good to me. Hyde Road was, it allowed me to do what I could do, which was race safely from the back, and that's what has influenced heavily the design of this National Speedway Stadium, is giving riders that freedom to race and reduce the risk. You can't eliminate the risk in speedway. It is a dangerous sport, but give riders a bit of freedom, and then they can express themselves in their racing.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what Hyde Road did for me. Yeah. It's
definitely working with that new stadium, that's for sure. Seen some great racing.
Does seem to me, and I get a lot of pleasure out of seeing riders who make that track work for them.
Yeah,
it's all in there waiting for people to use it.
Yeah, definitely seen some lot of good lines as well, different lines as well, which is good, always good.
Yeah.
Got Dave Steele. He's put, hey Mort, Steely here, Simon Cross's mechanic.
Yep.
Do you still keep in touch with Jed? Do you still keep in touch with Jed, your old mechanic? If so, how is he, and does he still have a boat?
He still has the boat. No, I've not been in touch with him for a long time. I think he's out on the canals most of the time. And I think Steely keeps in touch with Crossy. I'm sure.
Yeah. Crossy sort of mentioned it the other day when he had his interview.
Did he? Yeah,
he's put He's put good to see you as well, pal. Right, I've got Gary O'Hare. He put 40.
40 years. I wasn't far out, was I? 35, 40 years.
No.
Yeah. Good on you.
Yeah, fair play. Fair play. There's no name on this one, but someone's put, what was the hardest meeting you took part in? Was it the 78 British final?
Hardest meeting I took part in.
A lot of them.
Sorry about silence. Trick question. The 78 British final. I can't really remember it. I don't know what the significance was. What I do know is that I didn't get into the world final, so that has maybe something to do with it. Maybe you can come back and tell us what the significance was.
Yeah,
of the
I wonder why he's asking
final.
that. Yeah, but, hopefully,
yeah. Hardest meeting I took part in, probably the hardest I ever rode, if you like. Was probably the 1980 World Final, where I every meeting you give it everything you've got, but there was just a couple of races there that I gave it everything and a bit more, but didn't get the results I was looking for, and that's always tough. And the one, and sadly, the one meeting that I always want to forget is the 81 World Final, which was such a brilliant World Final, but it was like horrendous for me. But and Bruce and Ollie racing was incredible, but unfortunately, I couldn't perform in the same way, which was frustrating.
I bet it was with that audience.
Yeah.
Got Sean Tacey's just come out. He's put a legend and a nice bloke to go with it.
Oh, very kind of you, Sean. That's good to hear that. I do try to be. I try to be both, actually, a good bloke and a legend. So I fit the bill.
That's it. We're getting all the ex-riders are all coming on. Colin Richardson's just come on.
Colin Richardson.
Yeah, hi Mort, looking good.
I follow some of what I see him on Twitter every now and then.
He's in Dubai, I think.
Good to see Colin
earlier.
about.
He's in Dubai, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's in Dubai. Yeah.
Into what? Into busy? All right.
Yeah, I think he's in Dubai. Yeah, he's been working over there. I spoke to him earlier today. I've got Kate Smith. She's put legend, fab rider, great bloke.
Oh, you're going to have my head swelling here.
There's loads of nice comments coming in, Chris. So that'll definitely, that's really nice. Got Paul Morrissey put, who do you really think brought the best out of you, Chris?
Who do you really think brought the best out of you?
I don't know if you mean, yeah.
Certainly, the riders that were better than me, I think, because it's always a challenge to come up against. Oh, well, yeah, maybe, maybe not, but I always really did enjoy a good race, where you're both at it, and I've done it. I've had a few good races with a lot of good riders, where you're both battling, being hard but leaving enough room, and I always enjoyed that, especially if I won. Which is the most important bit, really. But but having a really, really good race, where you're both riding on the limit, and it finally comes good at the end when you win, cross the line in front. Yeah.
That's the best part. Richard Cotton put, as well as Hyde Road, which other tracks were involved in the National Speedway Stadium design? Did you use any other?
I mean, because I rode at lots of tracks all over the world. And so when we were both David and I went to a lot of tracks as well during the period where we were considering the design of the track, and we studied a lot of tracks. Certainly, Torin was an influence.
Okay.
And Hyde Road Hyde Road was the biggest influence, but places like Torren, Bradford, believe it or not, was an influence. Voyance to some degree on some of the design, the curb system.
Okay.
But yeah, the most of the tracks we went to see, you learned something from. But the important thing for me that gives the different lines is the profile of the banking, which is the bit that really makes the difference on these big tracks. Because you see a lot of bigger tracks in Poland where the too flat. You know, there's no and limited. It requires a lot of dirt to get good racing. Whereas if there's enough banking, you don't need lots of dirt. You just need it in the right place, and you'll get good racing. But yeah, there was a number of tracks that were an influence, but mainly it was Hyde Road, and probably Hyde Road and probably Torren, because Torren being a modern track, was it seemed to be a great racetrack, but it's Belle Vue just slightly, I think, slightly wider and slightly it's fatter across the straight to straight. It's bigger there.
Oh, that's interesting. Simon Corbett has put, did you enjoy riding the smaller tracks as well, or was having a blast around Exeter, Halifax, the bigger tracks?
Good question, Simon. I enjoyed most tracks. You know, I mean, you got to enjoy it. It was. I couldn't ride Belle Vue all the time, but yeah, so I did enjoy riding some of the small tracks. In fact, Wimbledon was probably one of my other favourite tracks, to be honest, which is quite small. Strangely enough, on the two of the bigger tracks you mentioned there, Exeter, that was one of those where I'd go, and if I survived and came home, that was a result for me. Because it was all just a little bit scary for me, the riding right on the fence. And if you rode there every week, it'd be different. You'd learn techniques of how to deal with it. But going there a couple of times a year, for me, going to Exeter was, let's just do the best we can, which I always did, and make sure that we come away in one piece, which I always seem to manage to do. So that was successful at that. And Halifax, strangely enough, I used to ride Halifax quite well, but I don't know that I enjoyed it. I do have. I mean, it might seem strange, this, but I have a good sense of danger, and I felt that the Halifax. But I don't know if you ever went there, saw it, Lee. But you race up to the top of the banking, turn off the vent, and race back down again. And it was I just found it a little bit daunting. And I used to genuinely, what I did, if I knew, well, I would know, if the fixture was coming up, and for a week I'd be thinking about it, how to deal with it, and I had to psych myself up so I could go there and race to the best of my ability. If I just went there without properly thinking about it, I don't think I'd be able to ride it well. So it
looked quite a big track. It was quite a big track, wasn't it, Chris? I saw some footage of Kenny Carter there. I've seen some of that.
Very fast, very fast track. But to get the best out of it, and certainly Kenny proved that, you really had to use all of the track. You'd race coming in on the inside, race right up to towards the fence, and it was all, it was a challenge between you and the safety fence. And hopefully you win. Yeah,
sounds a bit dodgy. I've got Brian Burford. Come on,
Brian.
Yes,
Highway Star.
Highway Star via Argos, is it?
No, many people probably won't know this. Highway Star is my favourite driving song by Deep Purple.
Okay, yeah. He's into his music.
And Argus, he is, And Argus is an album by Wishbone Ash, and the answer would be Argus all day long. Argus was an album by Wishbone Ash that they're very famous for, and it used to satisfy me on the drives home many times, whether it had been a good occasion or not. Put Argus on, and it was 40 minutes of pleasure after maybe a horrible meeting or even a good meeting. I don't know. So that was it. Yeah. And Highway Star was was for if ever you wanted to drive a bit fast, put Highway Star on.
I like that.
It's got to be the live version of Made in Japan, though.
Thanks for getting on, Brian.
Right.
Brian.
Cheers, Brian.
Cheers, Brian. Got Chris Simpson's come on. He's put thanks for the training back at Buxton back in the 90s. Wow. I remember you having to drag me off the track when it was snowing. And also thanks for the chance on the microphone on the Belle Vue Centre Green.
Yeah, good lad, Chris. I don't know what Chris is up to these days, but yeah, well, mentioning Buxton, yeah, that was a long time ago, but that was, I think it brought one or two riders, give them a chance to have a ride at Speedway, because we were probably lacking some training schools at the time, and that was in the early 90s. Yeah, we set Buxton up, and then it went on to be what it became. It's a great little track now.
Yeah,
which was not in the same place, because the track that I initially did was inside the stock car track.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. So I've got Stuart and Adele Baker, quality racer, special watching Morton full flow around Hyde Road. Another nice comment.
I remember. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I remember it well. I do. They are great memories riding at Hyde Road, because it was just an absolute pleasure. Yeah, it gave a lot back to me. Hyde Road did. I always imagine it as it might sound a bit strange, this, but I imagine it as being a live thing, speedway track that enjoyed being raced, and and that's why I feel it gave a lot to me. Because I did on it what I think it wanted to be. You want to have done to it, which was race.
Proper racing, yeah.
Yeah.
Got Jackie Priest has put hi, Chris.
Hi, Jackie.
Paul Morris, Kenny Carter, how good was he, in your opinion?
So who? Sorry,
how good was Kenny Carter, in your opinion? I think Paul Morris has asked.
Kenny, I'm a great rider. I had some good times with Kenny when we were riding for England. We got on very well. Just the what happened in the end was just such a very, very sad situation, But
tragic,
but as a rider, I mean, he certainly had a lot to offer. He was Mr. Entertainment, wasn't he?
Yeah. So you always got on well with him, Chris. It seems like quite a few.
I got on with him okay. Yeah. I mean, there was a few. Yes, I did. I mean, I can't. There was one or two issues that raised their head, but no issues really with Kenny.
All good then. That Neil Sandys has put hi, Chris. With the benefit of hindsight, what single thing would you have done differently? Bit of an open question.
What would I have done differently? I don't know, because you're right. With hindsight, what would you do? Because one of my, I suppose, biggest regrets is that if you have any regrets, and I never really believe these people who says there's no regrets at all. Not having won an individual world title was frustrating, and with hindsight, would have probably done some things differently. I should have. I mean, not that I didn't do. I mean, I tried. I had to improve my gating, and I knew that, and it wasn't something that I was able to do. Improved it at league level, but I couldn't improve it enough at international level to give me that opportunity. And that's it really, you know, because that's what I would have done differently. I would have learnt to gate better. Not that I didn't try to, because I did quite a bit of work on that. Thankfully, Ivan gave me some help at one point during my career, while he was still riding, probably as well. But I asked him if he would help me. Yeah, he was very helpful. Things with Ivan, and I say this, Ivan said to me, he said, "You've got to be scientific or cheat." And Ivan was good at both. He's an expert at the rolling at the tapes that was allowed during that period. He was a master at it, and he was also a master of the science side of it. You know, and that's why he was so good. You know, he'd work that out, and very a clever speedway rider. But that's why he won so many world finals.
Because if you think about it, really, other than the world final, you pretty much won everything else there was to win.
Yeah, well, of course he did. Yes,
considering your gating as well.
So I'm missing some of your words somehow. I don't know what's.
Is it breaking up? Is it
I'm getting some like strange feedback.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and then it suddenly goes all right when you. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to. I'm just saying about. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, now,
yeah, I was just saying, pretty much looking down your list of honours, it was pretty much only the world final, really. You won pretty much everything else.
Snuck away. Yes, yeah, I did. And yeah, that's right. And the world final snuck away. But I didn't get it right.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on them nights as well back in the days. I'm sure you would have liked the Grand Prix system as well, wouldn't you, Chris? You'd have liked the Grand Prix system.
I would have loved it,
yeah.
I can say, the Grand Prix this year, I think some of the racing has been incredible.
Very good.
First class, and I'm a bit of a Bartos fan. Impressive. Right from when he hit the scene, I thought he is class, and appears to be a genuine racer, So no, it's good. I think we're in for a few good years. I think I've seen some fantastic races.
What about British riders? What riders are you like the British riders?
Well, I'm a bit behind the game a little bit, because there's some good lads coming through. And I don't know enough about them, and we've not had enough speedway this year to know about it. So I can only comment on some of the ones that I know more about. So Dan Bewley, he's quite impressive. Hopefully, he's recovered fully from his injuries, and we'll start to see a bit more from Dan. But yeah, I think we've got some good riders coming through. I know we have. I just don't know enough about them all. Hopefully we can maybe start to put together some world-class guys that can follow in the footsteps of Ty, and see if we can develop another world champion.
Lambert looks like he's sort of winning the European Championship, and then he's doing all right.
Yeah,
looks like he'll be the next one, maybe.
That was a great result for him. If he can, I think the GP, so the GPs are a real test, and that's the next step for him. To see how he can perform in the Grand Prix.
Be interesting. I've got a Nick Sawyer. He's put, is there any other team that you would have liked to have rode for?
I don't think there is, actually. I mean, there was a period where I was looking in search of making a change, because I knew that riding at Hyde Road was not necessarily a good thing for me regarding making better starts consistently. So there was a period actually during 1980 where I put in for a transfer. Nearly went to Coventry. That didn't come off. I don't know what was going on. In the end, because I wasn't wanting to leave Belle Vue because I'd fallen out with Belle Vue. I just needed something to make the change in my. I just felt I'd gone a bit stale, and so I'd run through 3 British finals and not qualified through to the following round. But the fact that I'd made the effort to put my name up there to make a transfer didn't happen, and so I just knuckled down and got stuck in and stayed with Belle Vue, and that was it in the end. And that was the only time I was ever going to leave, and I'm quite pleased that I stayed there for the whole of my career, because it was, Belle Vue was good to me, so. But if I'd rode at any other track, it would probably be maybe Bradford or Coventry. I probably would have gone to. Maybe Cradley, but I don't know whether they would have me.
So. What was being a Swindon fan? Obviously, my dad and uncle rode in there. Did you like Swindon?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I used to have some great races there. I think my performance was pretty good. And it's probably another track that I would have certainly considered. But yeah, no issues with Swindon. I mean, it's some great racing at Swindon, isn't it? It was just it's one of those tracks that favoured the brave, really.
Yeah,
it was some tough races there. Yeah, I had probably one of my worst crashes. One of my worst crashes was at not that one of big up any crashes. It's not much fun, but I went straight through the fence on the pits corner at.
Did you?
At Swindon, yeah, quite heavily in a stupidly just in a second half. I think it was a qualifying heat for a final when we used to have heats and finals. Yeah, in the second halves. And I'd done my usual trick. I'd missed the start, and it was and these races I'd tend to have had novices in, and I think it was the guy who was trying to pass who he missed the corner while I was making me big blast around the outside, and I went into the corner heavily, intending to make a run around the outside, and he overshot the corner more than I think he intended to. He didn't know I was coming, but and it just ploughed me straight through the fence onto the ground track, which is quite an achievement on trying to get over the fence. But so that was a bit of a shock. That was.
Yeah, definitely. Were you all okay? Was there any injuries from that?
I was okay. I damaged my hand a bit. That was the only thing. But I remember it was just quite a spectacular crash, I would think.
Finding yourself on the dog track's not good. Yeah, not good. Got Callum Marshall's put Lee Ashby. Can you ask Chris if he knows the Graham brothers? I'm pretty sure he knows the Graham brothers.
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yes, I know them very well. But both. Yeah, Alan and Graham. Yeah.
What did you think of them as riders?
Sorry, Alan and Andy. Great riders. I mean, I've had a number of clashes with both of them, but mainly with Alan regarding Cradley, because Alan was a good rider around Belle Vue. Yeah, and was never gave up. Was always he was a tough rider to beat.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best clubmen, really.
Very committed to it.
Certainly.
Got Scooby Rogers, evening Mort.
Evening Scooby. How are you?
Also just got Richard Knight's come on. I remember he was a very good rider.
Has he?
Great
Richard.
times, Chris. Used to love the old Belle Vue he put further down.
Yeah. No, we Richard was one of those that was. I just know he used to love racing there because he was good and hard to beat around Belle Vue, and he was because there was a lot of riders certainly for there was quite a number of Ipswich riders who were good round there as well. Billy Sanders, John Louis, class riders, that used to. You just knew that it was touch and go whether you'd be able to beat them, and. And that was what made the racing so good for me. That there was these quality riders that came along, and it was quite a challenge, and it always brought the best out of you. And that's what I used to enjoy about it. It was that freedom to give it everything you had, but still feel safe.
Brilliant. Stuart's put, Lee, asked Chris, as he was a great team rider, in his opinion, who did he think was the greatest team rider around at that time that he was at the top?
Oh God. Richard Knight. No, God, that's Bruce. Bruce was pretty good, but Bruce Pennell, definitely, and Eric. Because I used to see a lot of team riding when we were up against Cradley, and both Bruce and Eric Gunderson were clever, intelligent team riders. And the other one was probably Hans Nielsen. He was very clever. I can remember racing against him at Oxford, and him team riding one of his teammates home, and I was trying everything, and he just managed to nurse this. I don't know who the rider was, but nursed his teammate home, and bought my every move. He knew exactly what I was up to. And stopped everything. It was probably the slowest time of the night as well.
Yeah, I'm sure I was holding it. Yeah. Got Jeanette Hubbard. She's put, hi Chris, what age were you when you retired, and what prompted your decision to retire from professional speedway?
Jeanette, I retired when I was 34, a bit young. I knew that, but I'd been carrying an injury. I had a hip that was a problem. I think I damaged it, falling off several times. I think it damaged me, my left hip. I think it took a bit of a battering. It wasn't any specific injury, but I think it was just over riding over time, and it was starting to give me quite a lot of trouble. And I was riding. If I rode 3 times a week, I'd be in quite a lot of pain, and I was taking painkillers. And I got to a point where I thought that I can't really continue, so I made a decision to retire. If it had been a few years later, because I've now had a hip replacement, which I had done, strange enough, 20 years ago, believe it or not. It's 20 years since I had the hip replacement, and it's still brilliant, and it changed. I'll say it changed my life, but it gave me back. Any people out there who have got a hip problem, they know what I'm talking about. The pain is it's not an excruciating pain. It's just something you live with that just aches and aches and aches all the time, and it stops you sleeping and all that sort of stuff. So to have it done, having a hip operation, and it was just a revelation for me, because it just relieved everything. And so I do a lot of mountain biking now. It's really what I do. But say that was 20 years ago, and my hip's still my new hip, which is now my old hip, is still going strong. And that's the main reason why I retired. I was getting stiffer and stiffer, and I couldn't. My riding style had changed, and it was getting difficult to ride properly. So, although I did come back 3 years later, I rode for Sheffield for a season. Yeah. Sheffield was an easy track to ride. I struggled on some of the other tracks, but yeah. So that was it.
Did you enjoy that time? Did you enjoy that time at Sheffield?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I loved it, because I always enjoyed racing Sheffield. So to go there for a season was I suppose what it did was, because it was to retire so early. It was. I probably could have gone another couple of seasons with it the way it was, but I decided to retire. So and that one season coming back just was the right thing to do, but it was also reminding me it was the right thing to retire as well.
Okay, fair enough. There's a couple of nice comments as well. Jill Ferris said, "Mr. Belle Vue, thanks for the memories." Paul Morris obviously also said, "You are Mr. Belle Vue."
Oh, that's very kind of him.
Someone's with no name on it, but sorry, Chris, I'm back again, because you can't see a name. Sorry about that.
Facebook user,
Yeah. What are your opinions on how British Speedway should go forward with the polls trying to enforce how many leagues a rider can ride in? Unfair, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It is unfair. This is something that the FIM really need to take control of, because although Polish Speedway is it's great. The sport in Poland is fantastic, but it's not all about Poland. And for Speedway to survive, it needs supporting properly in all the countries that run Speedway, because it's not it doesn't. It maybe dominates in Poland, but I think the FIM have got to get stronger and stop Poland dictating. It's just not. I don't blame Poland for what they're trying to do. They've got businesses to run, and they want to look at they pay these guys a lot of money, and they want to look after their sport and their business. And so it requires someone to control it, and the people that are in charge of the sport at an international level are the FIM. And so I think it's the FIM that need to set the standards or what's required and take some control over it. Give them some of what they need, but not give them a free rein, on dictating to riders where they can go.
So I gather they're trying to say only two, so them and one other. So I'm gathering a lot are probably going to choose Sweden over England, I would imagine.
Yes, I think so. I think you may get a mixture. I mean, we see there'll be a number of riders, I think, who would be happy to ride probably in the UK. To be fair, Jason Doyle has always been, he's been always supported the UK, and I think you'll get riders that will do that. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, the riders, they've got to, you've a limited career as a speedway rider, so they've got to go where the money is and understand that and make the most of the opportunity while it's there. And you may know more about what the better choices are than I do, but I can see they would probably go to Sweden. It also works very well for being on the continent.
Traveling there,
with equipment, traveling and all that. So I can see that. But I don't see why it needs to be that way. That's something that is probably not necessary. But riders are able to. They've proved in the past they can cope with riding. 4 or 5 times a week in different countries. They can do it and just set up for it.
Yeah. What did you think, Chris?
I was going to say the problem with Poland, obviously, what they don't like the risk of their rider that they put a lot of money into getting injured somewhere. I mean, you can see the frustration there, but it's part of the sport. That's how the sport has evolved, and they're trying to force it to be different.
And then I've heard people sort of saying about like the restricting of trade. Can that legally be okay and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's whether anyone would challenge it. That's the issue with that, because I'm sure there's I'm sure there's lots of things wrong with the way some of these the minor sports operate. But who's going to challenge that? Can they afford to challenge it? So
interesting. Yeah, interesting one that. What did you think about the comeback as well of Jason Crump that was coming back, and obviously Nicky Pedersen was coming into British Speedway as well?
Yeah, no, great to see it. I mean, it's good for the UK fans to have that opportunity to see them. Because we've been a long time, not so much Jason, but certainly without Nicky, and these are two guys that are they're entertaining. Whatever they do, whenever they jump on a speedway bike, they're going to give it everything they've got. And so, it's a shame the way the season went, because it would have been great to watch Jason perform in the UK. And I think the bits that we saw, I mean, he's not really had a proper chance to get his eye in. So
Nah,
I'm sure
I did do a.
I'm sure we'd have seen some.
I did do a bit of an interview with Jason, and he did sort of pretty much confirm that he was looking to ride again next season. So that was obviously great news.
Oh, that'd be good. That, yeah, because I mean, you know, we'd see some of the old Jason. I think once he's got he's had a bit more riding and gets the feel of it all. And but it's a tough call that coming back after a few years off. It's not quite the same. But you know, if anyone can do it, I'm sure Jason can.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Be interesting. Be very interesting. Someone with no name on here has put, I remember Mort riding in some of those big early grass tracks, Bewdley, Bonanza and others. Great rider and some great meetings. And obviously I know that you won the Aces of Aces and stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, I won there was one year that I won the Ace of Aces and the Bonfire Burn-Up.
Yeah, Bonfire Burn-Up, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I always found for grass track racing really gave me my my lead into speedway, which did for a lot of people, a lot of riders went via that route, and I was very fortunate to be sponsored by Jim Rawlinson, who sponsored a lot of the riders in the Cheshire area. And one of the great things for me for gaining fitness, because jumping on a speedway bike after having done nearly 20 races at a grass track meeting the weekend before was like quite luxury, you know. It was great. But the riding the 500s and the 350s, which is what I used to do, if you imagine doing the 350, you'd have a heat, a semi-final and a final in both the 350 and the 500, and then there'd be the unlimited, which was the same again. So doing up to nine races in one meeting on some of these grass track events, it was you had to be fit to do that, and it was great to give you the fitness and the racing skills and the determination and all of that. And I really enjoyed the grass tracking, and it gave me good grounding. And to come back to it later in my career and do you know the Ace of Aces, which was a great track. He put on some great meetings. Thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, it really was great fun. Of course, I did a lot of long track racing. Long track racing was, I used to really love long track racing. Just it's the stuff that you do I don't say you do it for fun, but as a speedway rider, to then jump on a long track bike and be going around 1,000-meter track and head down, arse up, flat out, just fantastic. It's just the greatest feeling in the world to hit fresh air, no riders in front of you coming out of the first corner. It really is one of the greatest feelings in the world.
Yeah, very nice. Got Nathan Thomas has asked, please can you ask if he ever missed a gate just to entertain the fans?
Every time. All the gates did it on purpose.
That's brilliant.
No. I'd love to say yes, but no.
Yeah.
No, all my own fault.
Yeah. I think people wouldn't have been impressed if you made a gate.
Yeah, there's a few I made, but
as in, like, they didn't want you to make the gate because they want to see you do the
of course they didn't.
I meant that's what I meant. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. No, I did.
John Crook has put, did you have many injuries? Don't remember you getting many.
I was very fortunate, but I had if you compare them, my brother had a lot of injuries, and I used to wonder how he survived and was able to keep coming back, after such some bad injuries. I was fortunate, but I was also think it was like a bit of self-preservation, because I had a great sense of danger all along, and I knew where the limits were for me, and I always had it was like a switch used to come on where I thought, I'm overdoing it, I'm pushing it. I knew exactly where I was taking too many risks, and so I knew where that line was. And although I had a lot of crashes. You know, it's very difficult to ride speedway without it, because I think speedway, genuinely think speedway is probably one of the most dangerous sports. Not necessarily to you know, a number of riders who have been very badly injured, but it's quite easy to get, you know, break a leg, break arms. You know, some of the simple stuff, collarbones and all that sort of stuff. And you get a lot of them because it is what it is. It is a dangerous sport. But I was very aware of that, and although I when I was racing and I felt absolutely in control, and you got the adrenaline flowing, and you know, got a clear vision of what you're doing, then you take risks, but they're calculated risk that that are on instinct, and you're relying on that. And I was very fortunate that I had an instinct for when to go and when to woe.
Yeah,
that's what helped me survive. And yes, I did have a lot of injuries, but nothing relative to other riders who had some quite bad ones. I was very fortunate. You know, the thing that stopped me, ironically, the thing that stopped me riding was something that was a long-term injury that had come from riding a speedway bike. I did. I suppose the worst one I had was probably that I did break my neck at Hackney. Didn't know I'd done it. Carried on riding because it was I think it was the qualifying meeting for the World Final in '83, I think, or '84. The final at Norden that Muller won, whatever year that was. The qualifying round, the first round for me, which was at Hackney, and the first race I went straight into the fence head first, and was taken off the track, and I told them, Jed, to get the bike ready. I'm going to be in my next race. Fortunately, I think it was heat 1, and I wasn't out again until heat 8. And I got myself together. Clearly had a problem because my neck had gone all stiff. And I rode in the meeting, qualified, just about scraped through. I think I got 8 points, got me through to the British final. And it was only I had a crash at funny, I'm just looking at his message, John. Didn't have many injuries. I'm talking about lots of them now. I had a crash about a few years later, probably about 4 years later, I had a crash at Bradford. Fell off quite heavily. I think I was slightly concussed. Went to hospital because I'd had concussion, did an X-ray. And the doctor, you know, he stuck the X-ray up on the monitor. In the olden days, he used to put it under the light, and he said, "When did you break your neck?" I said, "I didn't know I had done." And you could see on this on the X-ray where it broken the, I don't know, it was about the fourth vertebrae down on the neck, where it had broken and repaired, and that was clearly from that accident. And I drove. I had about 3 weeks off, and I then started riding again from the injury at Hackney. But I didn't. I thought it was just muscular, but obviously it wasn't. So that was the worst thing I had.
Yeah. See, Simon Cross has just piped up on YouTube. How much do you love Simon and Andrea Cross? How's Gertie?
Loads and loads. Gertie's great. Gertie is my daughter, my youngest daughter. Probably not very young now, but youngest daughter, Charlotte. That's Gertie.
Brilliant. What's we got here? Ian Corcoran's put, how many times has Steve Casey beat you?
Never. That's now Steve Casey. He was at the training schools where we both sort of started together, and he tells me he beat me at the training school, but I don't remember. And that's what that's about. So although I did, when I wrote the book, because I'd always said I don't remember you beating me, I'd I did give him the credit that he might have beaten me once.
Yeah,
maybe.
might have. Maybe. That's brilliant. Right, let's have a look. Got Alan Marshall. He's put, "This might have been asked, but have you and PC settled your differences?"
Oh, no, I've not had any contact with PC for a while now, so no.
Okay, fair enough. So Alan Little's put, "A cracking, fearless rider."
Thank you.
He was still riding when he had a broken neck, so pretty much confirms that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stephen Davis put, "What's your take on the future of British Speedway?" Oh, we've sort of covered that a little bit on the Polish teams. Yeah, we've covered that bit. Alan Little, "Memories of riding at Borough Park." Is that supposed to be Borough Park?
Borough Park.
Borough
Right
Park,
where that is, I'm not great on Borough Park. Alan, tell us where. Yeah, because I'm not sure.
We'll see if he comes back with that and see who that is.
Come back with the club. Yeah.
Someone's asked about the MK Milton Keynes Knights race jacket. Yeah, in the background, that was my dad's in 1979, I believe.
Oh,
when he was.
heck.
Yeah, see it.
79. Yeah.
1979. He used to partner Andy Graham, so that was quite nice.
Yeah.
A while ago that was.
Must have gone at 79. I think I went to it was an open meeting at Milton Keynes.
Okay.
And it must have been an open meeting and it'd be around 79. It might have been 80. And it's just a little story that was quite amusing at the time because I remember because Bruce was there, Bruce Pennell was there, Phil Crump was there, and so it must have been an open meeting that they'd set up.
Okay. Yeah.
And in the way that the pits were set up, there was like a cage fence where all the fans could see all the riders and ask for autographs and things.
Oh yeah.
And I'm stood there at the pit watching a bit of racing, and there's a kid shouting my name, Chris, and he keeps shouting, and I'm like, I'm trying to ignore him, but he's not giving in, and he keeps shouting me.
Yeah.
So I go over to him, expecting to sign an autograph for him. He says, "Can you get me Bruce Pennell's autograph?"
No way. Oh, brilliant.
So yeah, deflated.
Yeah. Oh, you're a bit. Did you though?
Not quite. Of course I did.
Brilliant. Oh, that is classic. I've actually got a cool little mouse mat here. Look, you can see if I don't know if you can see it. It's my dad's in the Milton Keynes with the old Ashby brother leathers on. Yeah. They used to do those little cartoon stickers that used to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my dad David there.
That is good.
You can see it.
Yeah, no, good.
They used to do a lot of those
would I
sort
race
of cartoons.
Against David? I don't remember racing against David, but I must have done them, mustn't I?
Yeah, you must have done probably at Swindon in the 70s, maybe at some point.
In the 70s, yeah, I would have done. The 70s are a bit of a not clear about 70s stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But when did he retire, Dad?
My dad retired. He literally did that 79 year at Milton Keynes was his last year.
Did he? Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So did you ride Martin much? My uncle Martin Ashby.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I think he carried on a bit longer, didn't he?
He went another year at Reading when they won the league at Reading at 80, I think.
Yeah, I can remember doing some. Certainly a road with him for England a few times, I think as well.
Yeah,
I know we went on a. He was in incredible form. Must have been probably 79ish, maybe when. Certainly late 70s when we went on a tour of Sweden, and he was captain, and he was just stunning at the time. Yeah, just.
I know he won a World Team Cup with England as well. Whatever year that was in the 70s.
Yeah, that'd be 70s sometime. Yeah.
Good times when the English reigned the world. A lot of them times.
We did for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sadly missed at the minute. Right, we've got a question here. Paul Morris has mentioned, do you think we should go back to the old format of Friday and Saturday nights? Because I think we get more fans, but obviously a lot of dictate to by then they don't own the stadiums and stuff, so not too sure.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, because of course Friday and Saturday nights are the best nights for live entertainment.
Oh yeah, exactly.
When people are ready to yeah, you know. So yes, I do. Yes, I do, but it's not that simple, unfortunately.
No, exactly that. Who were the hardest riders to race against at the Hyde Road? We mentioned that a little bit already, haven't we?
Yeah, there's a long list of them.
Yeah, they all liked it. Did you have any superstitions, Chris?
Superstitions? Not really. Green. Wouldn't have any green anything green on my bike. No, I don't.
I've heard of that.
But you're influenced by people's comments when you're a bit younger, aren't they? You know, and that was one of them. You know, green, bad luck, green. And so yeah, wouldn't have anything green. Certainly had routines, but you know, nothing. There was nothing that was. I always felt. I mean, I think early on, on the psychology side of things, that you know, you have to have systems and say routine, but having things that suggest bad luck are just not. It's not good karma, is it? Probably a bit more modern, but it's just not. Because it can trip you up, can't it? You know, having to put the number 13 body colour on because that's what you've been chosen. I mean, if 13's a problem for you, you're in trouble, aren't you? And so, you know, I felt you couldn't afford to have that. You know, you have to deal with reality.
Yeah, exactly that. Scooby Rogers has put 1983 Northern Riders Final when you beat KC from the back and broke the track record.
Yes, I remember it well. Well, I probably remember it well because I've seen the video. But yeah, it was a good year, and that it's funny that night we could see that the track, although it wasn't very often, you'll get tracks that the track record gets beaten because the track's was almost unrideable and it's got too much dirt on. But this night, I could just see that the way it had been prepared had just given it an edge that if you rode it in the right place, then we would get fast times. And I think the track record was broken 3 or 4 times that night. And I was out in Heat 4. And I think PC had broken the track record. Kenny had then broken it, or the other way around. And then I went out and took another second off the record, and that stuck for a long time. And I was pleased to see that Eric Gunnarsson equalled it, and the track then that stayed. So me and Eric Gunnarsson hold the track record at Hyde Road.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful way to go like that.
And that's relative to the Northern Riders. But yeah, it was a great meeting that, and they always were good meetings. The Northern Riders Championship, because the riders from Halifax, Bradford, and Sheffield, and we all quality riders all enjoyed racing at. And it was actually, ironically, Northern Riders the last meeting I won.
Was it?
Pushed it over the line, at Sheffield.
You won a few of them, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I always enjoyed it. It was always a challenge. Yeah.
Got someone here from Twitter. There's no name on it. Have you ever ridden an American dirt track bike? What did you think?
I haven't done. Always thought it looked really cool, to be honest, but I've never ridden one. Well, they probably work quite well on the big, the big tracks like the 1,000 metre or whatever. They probably work really well, but I can't imagine how well they ride on a smaller speedway track. That's why a speedway bike is designed the way it is, because that's the best way to ride on a, say, a 400 metre type track. But the American dirt track bikes are they look like a bit of a handful, some of them. But I imagine it being great fun. to be honest. But no, never ridden one, sadly.
Okay, fair enough. There's no name on this one. Yeah. There's no name on this one. They put, what are your memories of coming down to Hackney on a cold, wet winter Saturday afternoon to be the first rider to test the Godden GR500?
I have a vague recollection of it. And strangely enough, because the engine situation in the I don't know whether that was, it was late 70s or it would be in the late 70s, where we needed some competition. Westlake was starting to dominate, and Don developed his GR500, which became a competitive engine and something that I used later in my career and was and survived quite a while. Even survived over the GMs where the Westlakes didn't. I think, I don't know if I might be wrong with that, but they were around for a while. A great long track engine as well, the GR500. I rode one of those. I rode one for quite a while in the long track, and was third in 1980 on one of Hans Zerk's Godden engines. And so it was a good engine. Perhaps not. It couldn't quite compete in the end with the GMs, but became quite a dominant long track engine.
I've got a Chris Goslin. He's put Kings Lynn. You always went so well there. I remember those great World Team Cup rounds.
Always enjoyed Kings Lynn. I think it was one of those tracks that enticed the racing in me, and there was opportunities. There was different ways of riding the track, and which really allowed you to get stuck in, and if the conditions were right, you could certainly have some really good racing. A great shape. It's a good track, and it was one of the tracks that I studied quite deeply in the designing of the NSS.
I've got Kevin Titman, 1984 British League Riders title at Hyde Road. Do you remember beating Hans in the runoff? The crowd went mental. I grew up watching you at Hyde Road every Saturday with my mum, dad, and obviously Dad, John Titman, was away racing. Yes,
I remember it very well, and this was one of those occasions where I've got a photograph. I'll see if I can bring it up on my phone. But the situation was, I don't know if the listeners remember the situation, but it was when the tape touching rule had just come in, and I think myself, Hans, and Eric Gunnarsson had finished on either on 12 or 13 each, and so what happened was that the three of us were in a runoff, and so we're up to the tapes. I don't know whether I had choice of gates. I'd taken gate 4. Obviously the dirt was moving out. The real line was very wide by then, and Hans, I can't remember where Hans was. It didn't really matter in there because he was inside me. Because what happened was that Eric came up to the tapes and he touched the tapes, got excluded. So it was a race off between me and Hans, and I knew, because he knew how I rode and what I was going to do. I knew what he would do. Obviously, I wanted to make the start on him, but it was a very good chance. He's such a dominant gaiter. I had to have a plan B, which I did have. And him knowing what I was going to do, he obviously decided he would make the start and he'd go straight to the dirt, which is what he did. I knew he would do that, and I immediately turned back and raced inside him and ran to the dirt coming out. So effectively, he'd gone to almost to the fence in the middle of the corner. I'd already turned back on him because I knew that's what he would do, because he'd gone to block the dirt for me. And I passed him up the inside. I probably gave him a bit of a hard time and picked up the dirt coming out that he was expecting to get on, I think. So yeah, that's I remember it very well. It's very clear because I had a clear idea of what I was going to do. I'm just going to see if I can find the picture for your people there.
Yeah.
Carry on. I've got some.
I'm going to bring up some photos actually. Let's get some photos. We can have a little look at some photos. Put plenty on here. Here's a nice early one. Look, like a nice early one there.
A young lad there. That's 1974. 74, I reckon.
74.
Is that right? That's 74 as well.
I see there's a signature on the photo by the looks of that one.
Is there?
Yeah, on that one. Is that a signature there on the thing? Yeah, I think so.
That's at Hyde Road as well, that.
No, it's got one here. I think that's John Cook on the outside, is it?
Could be Cookie, yes. Does look like him, doesn't it?
Looks the silver leathers in it, yeah.
That looks like 84 as well. It's like 10 years later.
Looks like a British final one, I think, when they all wore them body colours.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, that's British final.
Yeah, commentary, how would that be?
That looks like 83, that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
That's 76. British final. Yeah, that's when Simo won it. Is that looks like 76 World Final.
Yeah, Poland, was it?
He does do, yeah.
Yeah, that's Scott Autry at the back. Is that Scott Autry at the back? Looks like him with the.
Is the American at the back then?
Is that Scott Autry?
It will be Scott. Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like him with that helmet. What have we got here? Another one. Huh.
I've got my picture for. We'll be able to show this to you.
Yep, try and show it on that. I'll take that out of the way. Oh yeah, you can see that. See hands.
Yeah, so that was that moment. He'd gone to go to the dirt, and I nipped inside and
then gone to the wide bit.
20 meters back, he was ahead of me. So
it was a beautiful move then. Well thought out.
Worked, yeah, and
bit sweet.
It was, yeah. I mean, it felt really good that way. So much because I rarely got in the BLRC because I was the top rider because there's so many clubs. It was the top rider for each club, and
that was like a final itself, wasn't it? Like a world final.
Yeah, it was a big meeting. So I think that Barry Briggs won it for. I think he won it for about 8 years on the trot. Barry is.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Another nice one there. Look.
I can't say that.
You can't see the year on it.
Well, there's some riders there, isn't there?
Yeah. I see a Graham. Is that a Graham on the end?
Les Collins, Alan Graham, I think. Yeah. That Michael Lee.
In the middle, with the streaks and the hair. Simo.
That's like a young England. That's what that was. One where Simo was looking after us all. I think we had a trip around Poland. I think went to Poland, 1980. That's the World Team Cup.
Great times.
Yeah, that would be 70. Oh, that would be 1976. That's in Australia. That photograph.
Right.
So that's 76.
Thorpe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Paul Thorpe.
That's Thorpe. Yeah. At well, that'd be that looks like Belle Vue. Yeah. Yes, Belle Vue. Yeah, must have been a test match or something. I don't know what year that is. Probably, I don't know, 80. 85, maybe 82 or.
It's another nice one.
Pairs final.
Nice. See Hans and Eric, and is that Major and
is that Ivan?
Is that
Ivan
Mitch?
And Mitch, yeah, Mitch.
Is that
Shearer.
Mitch? Yeah, Mitch Shearer. Used to enjoy
yeah.
Mitch Shearer at Swindon as well.
Yeah, it was great, Mitch. Well, that's an interesting shot, isn't it?
Yeah. Is that Richard Halcyon, Andy Smith?
Is that? Oh, was it? Yeah. He was a good, solid rider, Richard.
Yeah. I remember him coming to Swindon. There's a nice one. I think this is at Swindon, a test match. Is that Phil Collins? Is it Lance King?
That's Phil Collins.
Yeah, Lance King.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. I've seen that race. I think I don't know.
I think that's on YouTube.
It was a good meeting.
I swear.
I don't know what happened in the meeting. Who won the meeting? But I remember it being. They were always tough though against the Americans then. Colin Richardson now, look. Yeah. So what year would that be? That would be something like. It's probably 84, that, isn't it? I think it is. Yeah. Carl Glover as team manager. Joe in there.
I see that. Yeah. Is that Bastable? Is that Steve Bastable? Tatum? Very young Tatum. Was it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. That would be. That must have been a test series where they've picked different riders, haven't they, for certain meetings.
You've got big sponsors then, like the Sunday Mirror paper.
Sorry, big what?
Sunday Mirror paper that's sponsoring the sort of big.
Oh yeah, yes.
Big sponsors then.
That's 1974. That would be
the under 21 one, was it, Chris? Yeah.
Yeah, it was called British Junior Championship at the time.
Junior Championship, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's mid-low, isn't it?
Which was. Yeah, it's mid-low. Yeah, it was the first and only time I'd ever rode at Canterbury. Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. So you won it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. Brian Burford did a piece on the 4B Jap that was, and that's what was riding at the time.
Right.
That kept blowing. They kept blowing up, but it survived this meeting because it was a good engine, but just didn't. It couldn't keep together. That's the problem.
Couldn't be reliable.
Well, that's one of the indoors, isn't it?
Yeah, is that Telford? What's that? It's on ice, isn't it?
That's me. Yeah. Don't know that. That's not me.
It's not you.
Yeah, it probably looks like Telford.
Right.
That must have been. That would be the following year, I think, isn't it? 85.
Oh, Kelly.
Yeah. This is a bit later, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. So it's got to be.
That would be
Maybe 90s, early 90s, maybe.
Just before, I think it's probably about 79, maybe. Sorry, 89.
89, 89, 80, something around that.
Yeah. Well, I'm on a Godden there, so yeah, could have been. Payonson, my goodness. Having a go. So I don't know when that'd be.
No, I presume that's at Reading. I would presume.
Or even where? Yeah, probably would be Reading, wouldn't it?
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah. Yeah, both having a bit to think about there, aren't we?
It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah. How are we going to get out of this?
Yeah.
Is that Siggy?
Yeah, it looks like it.
I think it is, isn't it?
It's a good one. Yeah. Looks a bit dusty.
Isn't it?
I wonder where that is.
Well, would that be that? Would that be Swindon or Cradley, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Certainly not much watering going on.
Yeah.
It's a nice one with the Sunbright. I remember it was the Sunbright Lions.
Yeah, that was like around 86, was it? 87. Oh. Well, a lot of people like that shot, but I think I'm in trouble there.
Yeah,
that's
legs a bit too far back.
70. Yeah, I'm just losing it, or I'm just trying to gather it back again.
Yeah,
a little bit cycle speedway.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this shot before. It's one of those really interesting, isn't it? That's obviously Wiggy there.
Yeah.
That'll be Stewie at the back, maybe.
Yeah.
Lance King, is it? For me at the back. Proper bit of racing going on here.
Yeah.
Oh, Eric, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, Javi behind you, is it? Looks like.
Yeah, I know at the back by the look of it.
Obviously, I was going to ask you about this. This was a question, so this is bring it up there. Look. So is that 83? Is that 83?
83, that, yeah.
What was your memories? That obviously must have been a big thing because it was obviously very prestigious meeting and everything.
Yeah, because it was a big event in the UK, the British final.
Yeah,
and it was. It's one that had always escaped me. I mean, I was second in 76, and I'd then struggled for a few years, and trying to qualify from that was always so hard because it brought the best out of everyone, and to win it, and it was all down to my last heat, I think, and I think Kenny brought Simon Wigg off, or the other way around or something. The restart, because I'd made the start, believe it or not, I'd made the gate in my last race, and needed to do it again, and it was significant for me that under that sort of pressure that I kept everything together, and I went on and made the start again and beat. Yeah, it must have been because I was racing against Kenny, so I think Wiggy got brought off by Kenny, or he felt he did, and Kenny, Wiggy went out because he went down, and so it was I had to back to the start again. I had to make the start again, which I did. So yeah, and that was the win.
Jeanette's put, what did you think of the Norden track in '83? Your testimonial year was brilliant.
Yeah.
I went to everything you did, including the stock car racing on Boxing Day.
Oh yeah. Right, so the Norden track I thought was great. It was a good track. It didn't work for me. Obviously he gone which was quite an achievement. I always felt people seem to think that because it was in Germany, that everything was sort of set up to help him win it, and of course it was. But you've still got to be of World Championship class to be able to, no matter what's, you got to beat what's in front of you. And there was some. It was a quality field that he didn't regularly compete against, and for him to win that world final, I thought was quite an achievement, really. And but yeah, it didn't work for me there. I had I think I got 8 points or something. Not good enough. But the stock car meeting, because I did in my testimonial, quite a few things happened because the circus was still going at Belle Vue, believe it or not, and I had one night at the circus as well where I did a tightrope walk and different things. But on Boxing Day, I had a drive in a stock car, which was quite interesting. It was good fun, but the thing was, you do learn to. It's difficult when you see stock car meetings when these cars that have packed up or they've spun out or whatever and because they won't start again. So once you've stopped and you're in, it's like there's about another 20 laps of cars driving past you. There's chances of them running into you are pretty good. So you've got to make a decision as to whether you undo the safety belt and get out and run like hell, or whether you keep it fastened and take your chances. And I thought I'd stopped, packed up by the fence, and I thought, I'm not staying here. I can just imagine a car running into me flat out. So I decided to undo the safety belt and climbed over the fence and got out of it. It's, yeah, no, it was great fun, actually. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Annette Brody's put, who was your favourite engine tuner?
Ted Howell. Ted Howell had tuned a lot of my engines, and he did some great stuff for me. I used a number of different tuners throughout my career, but Ted Howell was certainly the best one for me.
Gary's wrote underneath as well.
Gary's
him.
Got that right. I got that right then.
Yeah, you got that right. Right. Obviously, you won the World Team Cup. Was it 1980, I believe?
1980, yeah.
That must have been. What did that mean to you? That must have been amazing. Your memories of that.
So, missed that. You went all funny. What?
Sorry, I said obviously winning it.
Yeah.
Winning it, it must have been amazing for you. What was your memories of that?
The World Cup, yeah, it was just. There was quite a number of races that were significant. I know there was one race where I got to the front. I can't remember. I think I might have passed Yuri Stancil or something, and I was coming into the first bend for about on the second lap, and hit a big hole, and I think you see it on the video where I nearly came off, which would have made a big difference because I'm sure we probably only won by a few points. I think, but America were very close to us. But yeah, it was just a great meeting for me. Everything went well, and for all of us, really, things fell into place, and we beat, because the Americans at the time were doing fairly well. They were the main competition, really.
I've got Jennifer Bolshaw, sorry. She's thanking you to come into Ian's funeral. Tried to phone you, but I have the wrong number. You are the nicest person we know. Thank you and take care.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. That was it was an honour to come to. Ian sponsored me in my early days, and
right, okay.
Yeah, he used to. Yeah, and I was very, very grateful for that, and sad to hear that he died. So obviously I went to the funeral. So
that's nice. I got someone off YouTube put, "Hi Mort, what is your favourite Kelly Moran story?"
Favourite Kelly Moran story is probably tricky. There's a few, and not many I can tell, I don't suppose. But no, the probably the most prevalent one was when he when he cut his wrist, and that was a frightening moment because it was in Poland. He'd had a bit to drink, and he was at the reception desk, having a bit of a giving the person on reception a hard time, and I mean, my wife said, "Kelly, I think you should probably go to bed, I think." So, and he agreed to that. So we're taking him upstairs to his bedroom, and I don't know if you've been in some of these hotels in Poland in the early days. You had the normal door where the toilet would be as you go in, toilet on the left, and then there's a door that went into the bedroom part of it, and it was a plate glass window in this door, and we open the door, and he's already going, and he suddenly decides he doesn't want to. He wants to go back downstairs and starts throwing his arms around and put his hand through this plate glass window, and suddenly there's like blood everywhere, and it was squirting all over the place. And so it's amazing how because I'd had a bit to drink as well, and how quickly you sober up in that situation. And I just kind of threw him down on the bed and stopped the bleeding immediately. We called for an ambulance, and the ambulance came, and of course speaking English and not Polish, the ambulance people came in, and I've got hold of his arm, and the paramedic, if you'd call him the paramedic, he said just he was trying to tell me to let go of the arm, and I'm trying to tell him that what the problem was, So to demonstrate it, I just let go of it, and blood squirted everywhere because he'd cut through an artery. So
bloody hell!
And yeah, that was a moment quite scary, I've got to say. But we get him to hospital, and scary moment, which he every time he saw me, he used to thank me for it. But no, I had some good times with Kelly, and travelled all over Europe with him in going to different meetings. But it was good fun.
Very entertaining. This is a funny story. Brian Gardner, he's put, in 1979, Chris signed my autograph book and kept my Parker pen. Any chance of returning it now? That's brilliant.
I think no. Fancy letting me do that? Can't believe I did that.
Sure, to sign someone else's.
I must thought it was a good pen, this, isn't it?
yeah. That's a classic. David Norrie's put, I have having the British final always at Coventry definitely didn't do riders like Chris or Jimmy Mack any favours. Should the British final have been shared around and more non-gator friendly tracks?
I see his point, but I don't know. It was just a great event at Coventry, wasn't it? It was synonymous with Coventry and like the BLRC was with Belle Vue. And we've seen that over the years. Now it's been moved around, but no, I used to think I see the point, but you've got to, as a rider, you've got to deal with what's in front of you. So I used to enjoy it. It was a great challenge. It was funny because it was always a challenge, because even riders that were perhaps dominating at the time, it something like the British final does sort the men out from the boys, to brings out the best of you, hopefully. And if it doesn't, someone else next year it will do. So
they were very very competitive them days in the British final.
Yeah, they were.
Someone's put, there's no name on this one, but someone put, how did you get on with Simo? Malcolm Simmons.
Very well. Yeah, I used to enjoy time with Simo. He was, such a class rider, very, the classy style. And yeah, I never really had any bad times with Simo. He always had a lot of time for me. Got on with him very well. Top bloke.
Everyone put on there from that question earlier on, there was loads of people all writing the answer, Barney Kennett and that, saying it was Newcastle.
Newcastle, of course.
Yeah, that's it.
Interesting track, Newcastle, because it was very tight, and I went there a few times, and I always found it a great track to go to. I don't think I rode it particularly well, but I dealt with it. It was great to ride there because of the guys that had ridden there in the past, and I just loved the idea of the place. It was just a bit straight for a bit long and tight corners for me, but still a great venue. Really was.
Barney Kennett said, "Great show, you two, and Chris, you. It was brilliant to watch, and hope to see you for the Rusty Nails next year."
Rusty Nails next year, yes, certainly, most definitely. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame at the World Riders we couldn't do anything this year, but hopefully things will get back to normal in some way or another, and we can all get together and have those Rusty Nails.
Kev Griffiths put, I remember watching you ride with Sean and Kelly Moran was in the team. Did you enjoy riding with them?
Always, yeah. Great pair. Good times really with Sean and Kelly in the team. They were just great entertainment. good lads.
Yeah. Phil Elkin said, "Why did Hyde Road close down?"
It's a point of contention, really, because the whole of, I mean, I find it very sad that the whole of Belle Vue Zoological Gardens slowly was allowed to fade away. Because it was such a great venue for all the things that it did, and I think for me the council at the time have to carry a lot of the weight for having allowed the whole place to close, because it was the Jennison family had going back a long way, back into 18 something, but set it up as this zoological gardens, and it should really have been made to stay as a leisure venue of some sort, but too much it was sold off for commercial reasons, which is inevitable in this world. But the councils have some level of control over that, but they allowed it to slowly be broken down and become what it did in the end, which is houses and a car auction. So yeah, I can't remember properly what the question was now, but yeah, that's really
just
what.
Why did it close down? Yeah.
And that was it. Financial reasons, and the financial reasons being that people wanted to make money out of it. It was a very, very commercially viable piece of real estate, and sadly, it was allowed to go.
Chris Simpson on YouTube said, "When you see the money on offer now to the top riders, do you wish you were riding now, or did you prefer the memories of when you rode when Speedway was a king of sports?"
Good question, Chris. I mean, I mean, Speedway has been very good to me. I had great times, and there's not many things I would change, but would love to be riding in this era as well. And it is a great time. And these, the riders that are riding now, they'll look back in 20, 30 years, a bit like we're doing now, and they'll have been great times as well. It's of the moment, isn't it? And it's still the same. And I always say this: it's the old 80-20 rule. And it's like 20% of the riders that will be making the big money. They're not all making a fortune, I can tell you that for sure. Obviously, some guys are making a lot of money, but working on that principle of the 80-20, it's the 80% riders that really make the sport work. Of course, the superstars are really important, but the sport doesn't work without the guys that do it because they love it and want to be better than they are, but can compete and generate the entertainment that and they're the heroes for me. I mean, I love watching the top class riders. There's some great entertainment, and that GP Speedway I think is really entertaining. But I think we always got to remember this sport survives and works because people go along and pay money to go and watch it, and the real foundation of that is the bulk of the riders that make it all up to this sport that we all love.
All right, I'll ask you a couple more, Chris, and then I'll let you go. We'll have to get you back for a part 2 at some point.
Okay.
You obviously won the Pairs Championship as well in '84, I believe.
Yes, 84.
What was your memories of that? That was another special one as well.
Yeah, it was great. That, I mean, it was at in Italy, and we knew it was on the cards that we had a chance, and it was at the time when I suppose Denmark were really starting to look like they may dominate the sport. Hans and Eric were coming through. Ollie had kind of probably was looking after the lads. He'd probably done his time, and so we knew we had a chance of doing it. I don't think we were favourites. I think Eric and Hans were favourites, I think. But as you can see from, guys like Ivor Major and Mitch Shearer, obviously, we had good meetings as well. So it was like all these meetings are. It's never easy, but we worked it well together, and it. We knew what each other would do, and that's, I think, what helped us win it, was that we understood how each other rode, which made the difference in the end, and we swapped the gates around to suit what would make it best for us, and that's, I think, why we won it.
Brilliant memory, and another great memory.
Yep.
You won the Intercontinental final as well. What year was that? Was that 80?
1980. Yeah.
What was your memories of that? Was that a very good thing? Obviously, you thought a lot about at the time.
Yeah, it was that, because I'd gone through a period. I'd qualified for a world final in '76, and I'd gone 3 years where I hadn't qualified through the British final, and what I'd done is I'd gone to I went to a hypnotist to have a discussion about this problem that I had, because the British finals was becoming this. Psychologically, it was creating a problem for me, and so he taught me a bit of meditation, really, which I had a couple of sessions with him, and then he said, you can do this yourself, and so I used to use meditation before the big meetings to get myself relaxed and in the right mode, and that worked extremely well for me, certainly during that year. And that was applied at that meeting, and that I'd gone. And it's about it's kind of not giving up and knowing that it's not over until it's over. And if you see the meeting, I'd run a third, or I'd run a second and run a third. So I'd had a pretty bad start. Two races, 3 points. It's not game over, but it isn't looking good, is it? And so I just kind of got myself together and decided that the track that suited me, and so it was about bringing out the absolute best in me, or we were going to be not going through to another world final, which would have been, and that's what it was all about. That's the driving force is to get through to the next round. And although it turns out I won the meeting, but it was about getting a race win, then getting another race win, and then it was a run off with me and Bruce, and we tossed the coin. I don't know what Bruce would have taken, but I won the toss and took gate 4. Now I have a theory on that, because if you depending on the track, I mean, if it was obvious you would take gate 1 because that is what's working the best, then that's what you take. But the problem with gate 1 is that if the guy outside you makes a start, then there's nothing else you can do. He just trap you on the line,
clamps you, yeah.
And so that's right. So therefore you've got one chance off gate 1, and that is make the start. Whereas off gate 4, you've got 2 chances. Whereas you make the start and stop him, or you haven't made the start, so you've still got some control. Whatever the guy off gate 1 might do, even if he runs out to the dirt, you've got an option to do something else. Whereas if you're trapped inside him because he's made a start on you, then there's nowhere for you to go. And so that's why I always used to, in runoffs like that, I would usually take the outside, because I think they split it up into 2 halves. But yeah, so
yeah, like 3 and 4,
and that worked for me. As it was, I made the start, but I know.
You had a plan B anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
Always got a plan B.
Always got.
Right, I'll take one more question from the guys. Wayne Woolridge has put, until the can run out is a great read. I recommend it to anyone. Lap after lap in the field, and the junior grass is a great grounding. We need to get the junior grass scene going again. Please ask Chris.
Yeah, that would be great, getting the junior grass stuff together, which brought on a lot of riders. You know, we've got some great speedway stuff now as well, though. You know, because the route at the time, because at the time there was it kind of yeah, and I don't know whether we had many training schools. I can't remember really what the situation was, but the grass track racing was the thing that brought on a lot of riders. And it was a dominant scene. There was local racing and there was obviously national stuff as well. But it's died out. Of course, there is some grass track racing, but it's just not as much as there used to be. But we've still got some great work being done by by clubs for junior riders, and there is there's quite a good opportunity out there for them if people want to do it. But there's no doubt what the grass track scene certainly helps us bring on a lot of riders. I have actually got my book in front of me just in case. I'm not trying to sell any. Because I don't think there is any, but it's here.
I was just about to say, can you still buy it, Chris?
I might need to refer to it. I don't know. You'd probably get it on if you went on, I don't know, Waterstones or on whatever you go.
Yeah, I'd fancy one of them. I haven't got one. Yeah, I'll have to have a look.
Yeah, I've got. I don't want to do. I don't. But they did another print on a paperback, but then they all sold out. So there might be some about. Yeah, that was.
I better mention this man. I suppose he's just come up, Dennis Sigalos. He's put, "Hey, Mort, looking good, man. Was always a pleasure. Was always a pleasure racing you, and always clean. Thanks for being a friend, and have much respect for you. We sure had some great racing." That's really nice to finish on.
Cheers, Siggy. That's great. Good to.
Thanks for coming on.
I did see a picture. I had a friend who was over there, and he was, good. We did always have some great races. It was brilliant. Great times.
Yeah, definitely. I'll have to get Dennis on as well. Really appreciate that, Chris. Privilege, mate. Absolute privilege to do that. Really appreciate it.
Enjoy.
We'll have to get you on again.
Inviting me.
Yeah, we'll have to get you on again some other time for a part 2.
Set that up. We'll do it. Yeah,
brilliant.
Definitely.
Thanks ever so much for your time, Chris.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much. Cheers, Chris.
Thank you very much. See you.
Cheers,
Bye.
mate. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. What a man. Great one there with Chris Morton. I did see someone wrote on there. Who wrote that? Let me just have a look. Jeanette's put, "Are you two on a 2-hour limit so Chris can watch I'm a Celebrity?" No, we just basically spoke beforehand, and Chris asked how long it would be, and we just said it was going to be as long as or as short as you want it to be, and he just said 2 hours would be good for him. So yeah, I agreed to do 2 hours with him, and then hopefully we'll get him on again. We just agreed then on screen, as you just heard. We'll do a part 2 because I can still see there's loads more questions. I couldn't catch up with it all. We was quite a bit behind with the questions. Whoever's wrote that on YouTube, Simon put, "I don't agree with you, Mort. British final should have been swapped to a proper racetrack." Crossy didn't like Coventry. Even though you won meetings there, didn't you, Crossy, as well? Whoever put that on YouTube, who's that? Where did I see it? Thanks very much, Barney. Take it easy. Thanks for coming on again, mate. Pleasure. It's great to get Dennis Sigalos coming on at the end there. That was awesome. Whoever put this Nervo63 on YouTube, if you could message me, that'd be appreciated, because I've seen you've just put on there that during the Mort interview, I remember David Ashby riding for Swindon at Hull with his long hair. That's correct. By the way, there is some footage of David riding on the Memories of Hackney video. So if you could message me, I'd be appreciated. I've not seen that or didn't know anything about that, so I'd love to see that. So if you could contact me in some way, it would be great. I'd appreciate that, whoever that was. Nervo63. Thank you. Yeah, Yeah, so we didn't catch up with all the questions, really, people. I knew that I was doing 2 hours with Chris, so I tried to get in what I could, got some picture memories in. Time flies by, doesn't it? So, yeah, but we'll get Chris on for a part 2. He said we can arrange that any time, look, as he said at the end, so that'd be cool. We'll do a part 2 with Chris Morton, so you guys can get some more questions in. Thanks for everyone coming on tonight. Appreciate that. Obviously, I've still got tickets for the Rob Herring bike competition that I've spoke to you all about. There it is there, look, with the man. Just take you down a minute. So you can see fully there the bike. So if you can all get back to me, I think I've got about 70 tickets left, I think it is. So message me as soon as possible for that. Be cool. There it is there, look, with the man. He signed the front plate. He done the bike himself, 91 250cc Sibling Honda from 1991. Totally restored it himself, even down to the fine arts of the suspension, how he used to have it. And there's him back in the day there, look, in 91 on it. And then racing it. There's him at Fox Hill. And then racing it there, look. Good old Pico gear that we all know. There's me and Rob there. Absolute honour to meet that man. One of my heroes from the motocross days, for sure. So yeah, get at me for tickets for that, people. Cheers, Lee. Great stuff. Thanks, Phil. Paul Nye. Cheers, Lee. Great stuff. And Tinkerbell. Thanks, Lee. No worries. Thanks very much, Barney. Much appreciated. Paul Morris. Great interview. Peter Timney. Brilliant, mate. And Little. Well done, Lee, mate. Thanks, mate. Thanks, Chris. Loved it. Well done, Mort. Great show. Annette. Brody. Thanks again, Lee. And thanks so much for your time, Mort. Thanks very much. Great, brilliant read. Appreciate all your feedback, guys. Appreciate that. Let me get rid of that. Got that stuff on the screen there, haven't I? Where's that gone? There it is. Right. Yeah. So actually, no plans for once. I did have one arranged for Thursday with got the gin back out. I can't remember who messaged me. Someone messaged me. Who messaged me before? Someone messaged me before. Go and make sure you get the gin on tonight. So I did actually go down and do that for you, whoever that was. Cheers. Hopefully I should sleep all right tonight. Not had a drink in a long time. Yeah. So no plans for the rest of the week at the moment because I had one cancelled for Thursday. I did try to pull in a real cheeky one for Thursday instead with Eric Gunderson, but he's too busy at the minute, unfortunately. Get Big Al on, yes. You deserve a gin, man. Well done. Thanks, mate. So yeah, if you can contact me, whoever that is, about that. About you said that you see some coverage of my dad on something. I'd love to see that. I've actually got a pretty cool DVD of from Lee Kilby. I got it 1980. I think it was 1980 testimonial. Bob Kilby's testimonial at Swindon. I had like Bruce Pennell there and all sorts of top guys. And you see the whole of that meeting, and then after that, halfway through the DVD, it cuts into black and white, but it's still really good coverage of a meeting in the 70s at Swindon. And you had like my dad, David Ashby. You had Jan Anderson when Jan Anderson was at Swindon in his early days before he went to Reading. My uncle Martin, Bob. Yeah, it's really great footage. All those guys won races. It was really cool. So yeah, that's the only coverage I've actually got of my dad, that meeting. So yeah, any coverage I've seen, I'd love to see some of the Milton Keynes days as well. Be awesome because I know he had a great season there in his last year with Andy Graham as his team partner. Well worth it. Well done again, mate. I don't know who that is. I've just got to get you guys. There's a couple. There's only been a lot of you are getting it down now, so just have to press basically I think there's a link before you come into the live. Don't press straight into the live. You have to press on the link and then it gives it permission to use your profile so I can see your name and picture. Just see Marvin Cox has come on. Just missed it. I'll watch it tomorrow. We do it another time. Yes, I'm gonna have to get you on, Marvin. Love to get you on as well, mate. We had that conversation before. Yeah, that would be a good one. I'll speak to you about that anyway and try and sort out a date for it. That'd be a good one. That'd be cool, mate. Thanks for coming on. But yeah, like you said, anything I do live, it doesn't matter if you miss it live on the night. I know you guys like to see them live, but if you can't, then they're always recorded, and I share them the following day anyway. And they're always on my YouTube channel, Motocross and Speedway Memories, the YouTube channel. They always get saved there. So there's pretty much hundreds of interviews there now from all my old Skype interviews I used to do. And then obviously the now has sort of gone on another level really for the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks where we've been doing the lives where all the fans can interact. So it's brilliant. Yes, we did talk about it. Look forward to it. Awesome. Thanks, mate. I'll contact you and we'll sort out a date then. That'd be awesome. Top man. Thanks, Marvin. I remember Marvin at Paul. As a Swindon fan, I remember him having some amazing battles. You probably remember that, Marvin. You had some great battles. I'm sure you was at Paul at the time with Lee Adams when Lee was at Swindon, around about 91, 92, I think, when Lee won the under-21 world title around that time. I remember he had an AXO helmet, pinkish AXO helmet, red leathers. And I remember Marvin I'm pretty sure he's Paul #1 at the time. He had some great races with Lee Adams at Blunsdon, I remember. And then obviously I remember all your days at Oxford as well, when Oxford were sweeping everything in the sort of, let's say, in the 90s, wasn't it? Great teams we had down Oxford. I used to love going there with Swindon, like bank holidays, things like that. Was pretty cool. Double headers. It's on the memories of Hackney Speedway. Your dad is involved in a race, and I think it is from 75 or 76. Cheers for these light interviews. They are great. Okay, cool. So it's on a memories of. Is that like a DVD thing then? Is it? You can get of Hackney Speedway memories or something. Somewhere I can get that, is there? Or is it just on YouTube? Is there any coverage of it on YouTube? Let me know. That'd be good. Great days at Berwick. Get Big Al on. Yes, I did speak to Jill Graham, Andy Graham's wife, and I did say about hopefully, because obviously Alan's not too into his gadgets and mod cons, so I did say it may be possible to get Alan over to Andy's house and maybe do it the same as Andy did. They set up Andy to be able to do it for me, so maybe we could try and get Alan Graham like that. So hopefully they'll be able to do that for us. That'd be cool. Right then, people. Retro Speedway, i.e. backtrack for the Hackney vid. Oh, right, yeah, I know backtrack. Okay, cool. Andy Farmer, great interview. Mort was brilliant. Thank you very much, Andy. He was top man for sure. Retro Speedway, the Hackney DVD. Okay, thank you very much for that, Jeanette. I'll get onto that then and check that out. Thanks for that, people. Much appreciated. So I'll keep you all up to date. Like I said, I've still got the tickets for the Rob Herring bike, and keep an eye on all the social media. I don't know if any of you guys know that are on here now that you can go onto my Facebook. Let me see if I can get it on the screen. I've got my Facebook group, which is where most of the action is, because that's where there's nearly 6,000 people in there. So I don't know if you can see that. Let me try and... There, look. There's my Motocross and Speedway Memories. You'll know the pictures of Sam Ermolenko and Stefan Everts on there. So if you could join my group, that'd be really cool. And then see the blue button there, you've got an invite button, so you can invite any of your Speedway or Motocross friends to join my Facebook group. We're just approaching on 6,000 members, so that'd be awesome if we can break through that barrier soon. It'd be really cool. It'd be appreciated. And then I've also got my competitions page. I don't know if you can see that. Sort of MX and Speedway Memories competitions. And then we're also on Twitter as well. The lives are even on Twitter now as well, so that's pretty cool. So we've even got the lives now on Twitter for people that are on Twitter. I'm just seeing if I got my account there. If you can see that, we're on Twitter as well. Look. Motocross and Speedway Memories on Twitter. And then we're also on Instagram. The only thing that StreamYard doesn't go to at the minute is Instagram, but apparently it did say as soon as Instagram allows StreamYard to go on there, hopefully we'll be able to use that live as well. So that'll be then everything pretty much covered. But yeah, my YouTube channel, Motocross and Speedway Memories. If you go on there, you can subscribe for free. And I presume you get a notification if there's anything new been added into that. Plus, there's literally hundreds in there. I don't know if you guys know. I'll just give you a quick run through all the Speedway fans that are online now. I'll even give you a quick run through now whose Speedway ones I've got on there. So I've got my live with Ollie Allen on there, the recording. Simon Cross, Paul Hurry, the very popular one of John Davis has had probably best part of 20,000 views. And oh, actually, I've got some news for you about that. We're going to do like a Christmas one with John Davis because everyone was demanding a part 2. Everyone really enjoyed that for obvious reasons. We're talking about maybe doing a possible Boxing Day night one evening. I think we're talking about John Davis, Neil Middleditch, and hopefully one more. So that'd be quite cool. Normally Boxing Day evening, everyone's done the present opening and watching rubbish, boring TV by the time Boxing Night. So we thought that might be a bit of a Christmas cracker for you guys. So that is a plan. So yeah, that should be a cool one. Obviously, I got the live that I did with Mark Larams on my YouTube. The live I did with Ronnie Corey. The live I did with Andy Graham is online, and then the ones before that on Skype interviews, we've got Todd Wiltshire. I did an hour and 25 minutes with Todd Wiltshire on Skype. Martin Semlinski, the German rider. Martin Dugard, Chris Bomber Harris. I did a 2-part with Scotty Nichols, 45 minutes each on that. That's on there as well. Gary Havelock was an amazing interview, an hour and a half there with Gary Havelock. If you go on there as well, I've got a 2-part with Hans Nielsen. So that's over an hour of Hans Nielsen. That was a good one. Lee Adams was a really cool one for me, being a Swindon fan. That was great to speak to him. Did an hour with Lee Adams. That was really cool. I did Bruce Pennell. Skype interview with Bruce Pennell. That was over an hour. That was amazing as well. I did one with Roscoe. Good old Roscoe. Got that on there as well. I did one with Jason Crump where he confirmed that he was looking to ride in the UK again next year. So that was a really cool one. And I think that was it on the Speedway because I changed it from Motocross to Speedway, Motocross and Speedway Memories. But yeah, there's a lot of ones to catch up there for you guys if you didn't know about that. So you can go on my YouTube. I don't know if I can get it up on the same. It's got that same logo. It's got the same Motocross, the logo you can see up here in the top corner of my thing, but there's a Motocross rider sort of lent right over in the cover shot. That's the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to that for free and help yourself working your way through there. Looking forward to the Boxing Day with JD and Midler. Exactly that, Paul. That'll be pretty cool, and we're hoping to add one more to that. So that'll be cool. So thanks ever so much for everyone coming on tonight. I will keep you all updated on social media. I will reshare the recording of tonight with Chris Morton tomorrow. And then I will keep you all informed of the next Speedway and Motocross ones coming up. Like I said, I've still got tickets for the Rob Herring bike, so get at me for that. Be cool, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to go and get some tea. Good night and God bless to all. I'll leave you with my dad's quote. Love my dad's quote. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. So see you all soon, people. Thanks very much for the support and thanks for coming tonight. See you all soon. Ciao, Bella.